Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Today is Thursday. Happy Thursday morning to you. I hope that your morning is going well. Let me share with you how my Thursday morning is going. Right here, a little video clip. That means breakfast for the not feeling well children household. So the only downfall by having like a large family, people are like, oh, they're so expensive, or oh, this and that. No, like all that stuff is manageable. The part that it's the hardest is sickness, because there's so many. Sometimes it goes through a few of them, and then like slowly everybody gets it, and by the time the end of the line gets it, the first one gets it again. So there has been times in our life, or many times, where we were home for about a month and a half due to sickness because different kids had different things. So by the time you watch this video, we will be fine. It's not a real bad thing. It's not a horrible thing, but it's just, they just are, sickness, because there's germs everywhere. There's germs everywhere. So we keep our immune system up by taking lots of vitamins, and usually this kind of thing just kind of goes through real quick and we are done and over with. So today, in today's video, is going to be a really short one. And so myself, I feel good. I felt a little bit, but I know that I'm going to make sure I get my rest. So I'm not going to make it a long video. I don't have a lot to film because I don't have to do anything. I went through my house and I'm like, the house is clean. When nobody's feeling well, it doesn't get dirty. Surprise! It's probably a great time for homemade. Not really, no. I don't want them all sick, but it's less work for me. So all I have to do today is make some food for them to eat. We've been living on chicken noodle soup, and like, remember when grandma bought all those wonderful treats like pizza rolls and bagel bites? Like, I've made those and then pulled those out, like whoever wanted to eat, because not everybody wanted to eat everything. And so that has been really good having those. We had the chicken patty sandwiches. I made those. That was something I made it, and then like every kid ate it. They really like that. So I'm like, I'm going to add that to my grocery list for the next few months when we go shopping too. So it's been random what we've been eating, and some are more and some are not. And there's enough food to grab and gather, based on the ones that want to eat and the ones that don't want to eat. But today I went around and I'm like, what do you guys feel like eating? What is the food that you want to have? And so we have a lot of fruit in there, so they've been eating the fruit, munching on the fruit. And this morning I made smoothies for everybody. We have like pretzels and crackers. A lot of times they crave the salt because they're dehydrated, all that kind of stuff. Keep liquids in the kids. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving you doctor advice. I'm giving you large family mom survival advice here. So liquids, keep the drinks in them. That's one thing I just kind of like keep going. What do you want to drink? What sounds good? And I just keep filling up their drinks for them. Some want tea, some want juice, some want water. Some like that fizzy, no calorie water. Is that what it is? No calorie water. Yeah, they've been drinking that. So whatever works. We've been doing vitamin C juice, vitamin C orange juice, apple juice. That's just how it's been going. So I've been going through a lot of that kind of stuff between everybody. They're drinking, so everybody's staying hydrated, which is a good thing. So this will pass. It does. It always does, and we will survive. So for me, I thought, I wasn't like, I had to get up and do a bunch of work. And so I'm like, I don't want to do a whole lot because I just don't feel like 100. I'm not like feeling yuck, but I want to just get my rest so that, I do well. Don't mind Ruby barking. Jensen's out there playing ball with them. So anyways, so today's going to be, what can you make for your kids when they don't feel good day, and how to do that in a large family. So having a large family and lots of kids, I've had to learn to prepare over the years. Yes, it's nice if you have someone there to be able to help you with things, but that's not always the case because a lot of you are single moms. A lot of you rely on one income. And I know there wasn't times that I couldn't just say, hey, Greg, he would take the time off work. He would stay home if he needed to. But if we weren't dying, we relied on that income to live. So it was hard to take days off. So I had to all right, what do I do? So what do you do when you don't feel good yourself, mamas? You do the minimal possible. That's what you do. So there was days that I remember, even being pregnant, having morning sickness and feeling awful. I'm like, what do I minimally have to do? So I would just get up, the minimal amount to pick up, dishes in the dishwasher, whatever you had to do to get that part done. And then I just thought, okay, what's the smallest thing I have to do today? Most of it was just think of food for your kids. So a lot of times when they were little, I would just set them all in the living room, and I put gates on the doors so that they couldn't go anywhere. And then I would have a little kid picnic table in there, and I would make sure to have snacks, like maybe dry cereal and little juice cups for the kids. And then I would lay back down on the couch and fall back asleep while they're watching TV. I know. But survival right here is what we're talking about. So if that's the case, put them in a safe area. Maybe you can't do living room, do a bedroom. block yourself off in the bedroom with the baby gate, throw on some TV shows for them, get some toys for them, get some snacks for them so you're not getting up and down, and lock yourself in there so that you can get a few more hours of rest that way. My kids are all older now. If I need to go take a rest, I can take a rest and they will survive and be fine on their own. But as a mom that takes care of them, I have to go, like today I thought, what's the minimal I should have to do to, make our house function, be able to work, get all that done. So I've asked everybody for food. They all want chicken noodle soup, minus the chicken and not too much veggies. So I was like, okay. So, and then some are hungrier than others and they wanted mac and cheese. And so thankfully we have boxed mac and cheese. Having that on hand was helpful because there was a couple nights that like I wasn't feeling awesome. They were hungry. We made boxed macaroni and cheese. That worked really good. And some ate it, some didn't. And that was just an easy thing to have. So having food on hand, like that kind of stuff in your closet, your cupboard, your pantry is a good thing. So we had the boxed mac and cheese. And so today I said, what do you guys want? What more do you want? And they said macaroni and cheese. So I'm going to make a pan of baked macaroni and cheese just to have it. Whoever wants to eat it can eat it, and whoever doesn't, that's okay. And then I'm going to make some chicken noodle soup minus the chicken. Basically, broth and noodles is what they want. And so I'm going to put, they don't like onion. I mean, myself, if this was a gourmet dinner, I'd be chopping up onions. I'd be chopping up the garlic and having the chicken shredded in there and all the veggies, and that'd be delicious. But they are like, can you make just noodles and broth? I'm like, okay. So I have very little, I feel like I can't do that. So I have a little tiny container, very small, of veggies here. I'm going to put this in here. I have garlic. I'm going to chop up a bunch of this because that garlic will get in there. And then I'll probably use more like onion powder, I know, versus real onions because they don't want all the tiny onions in there. And then I don't have any chicken broth, but I do have chicken bouillon. So I'm going to have to use that. Let that boil, and I've got noodles. Then if I have a big pot of that, which I'm going to have going over there, that's going to be good enough for them. The other one is going to be macaroni and cheese. So I pulled out nacho cheese. I actually have a little bit of Alfredo sauce. So I pulled these out of the freezer. That's going to be my creamy part of it. I've got a little bit of orange cheese, white cheese. I'm just going to throw some in there and make a big, yummy, gooey, delicious, cheesy lunch. And so that's good. And then we made all those treats yesterday. So I have the breads out, the apple fritter bread, the banana cake, a couple kids have come got a few pieces. So, and then we still have fruit from the shower. So we've been eating on grapes. Every time I take something to the kids, I usually take them grapes, something like that to eat. Whatever they feel like eating, feed them. So having crackers, little tiny pretzels on hand are good. My kids like they're thinner. I think they're thin pretzel thins. They're like pit sticks, but they're real tiny. So that's kind of good to munch on because they're light and thin. Whatever you can have. It's finding what do you have to make that you don't have to run out to the store with. So just to minimize the amount of germs that are going in and out of your house. So always have chicken bouillon on hand. You got water. You can even put canned chicken in it. Some veggies if you don't, that's okay. And some pasta. That's it. And then it's like Mrs. Grass soup. That's what we grew up eating when we were sick. So just the minimal, necessary, and needed. And then just keep, thankfully nobody's sick. The vomiting and the other side, that would be bad. Those are never fun. And if you have those days, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll just say I'm sorry right now for those of you going through that. I would recommend putting a sheet down or a towel down where those kids are at and put a bowl next to them. Try to get a stainless steel bowl. Plastic, remember, absorbs things, so you might get some of that acid absorbed into it. Gross. Use stainless steel to rinse it out. We would put it right next to the kid. They would vomit. We'd have another one. We'd put it down next to them. We'd take that one, go dump it in the toilet, rinse it out, get it ready for the next round. And then just laying them down like on a sheet. Stuff goes through, but like a towel will absorb some of the liquid too in case they throw up a little bit on that. I know, so gross. It's just, you just gotta do what you gotta do. And if you got a toddler that's potty trained, but they can't get to the bathroom because stuff's coming out the other end, try to get a pull up on them. I know that's hard, and sometimes it's hard, especially if they have already trained and don't like wearing them anymore, but that'll help minimize a lot of stuff coming out of them too. I know, so gross. But for the most part, if they're older, they can get to the bathroom. Go, you guys. You guys are so good to make it to the toilet or whatever. But I've had some that just threw up all over the side of the bunk bed, and it got down everywhere, and those are the fun days. Thankfully, those are very rare, and just not ever good. So, mamas, you will get through this. You will get through this. So keep that. Keep Kleenexes on hand. Keep your fever-reducing medicines on hand. We keep a lot of that on hand. And so you're going to make it. You're going to make it. I promise you're going to make it on the other side of this. So just take some time. So today's vlog is going to be super short. I hope you understand that. It's just that I'm going to go rest, take care of myself, and take care of my kids. So we'll hopefully be back tomorrow for Gather Your Fragment Friday. We'll have to see how the life goes. But for now, we're going to be over here making some soup. My water is boiling. Let me go add my stuff to it. All right, so my water is already starting to boil. So I have chicken bouillon. Use canned chicken broth. I just don't have any canned chicken broth. I used it up. I could open a new one here. And that's good. You can use real homemade chicken broth or whatever you have, but I have none of that. And I'm not about to go to the store to get some, so I'm just gonna use, hold on one second, the bare minimum that we have to do. So they will like the chicken broth. They don't want onion chunks, so chopped onions it is. The more oniony, spicy, the better. And I also have garlic over here. So I'm gonna come over here real quick and just chop some up, just a little bit to add to the soup. So that's a lot of garlic, should be delicious. I'm gonna add that into my soup here. And they asked for the minimum amount of vegetables, so here is the minimal amount of vegetables. Perfect. We're gonna let that come to a boil, I'm gonna stir it and then change out the battery and keep going. Kids mostly like the noodles, not so much the broth. I would just drink a cup of broth. They like mostly the noodles, so I'm putting a lot of noodles in there. This is good. We're just gonna let this cook. The pasta is boiling away from the background over here. An easy day. All right, so my noodles are done cooking. Let me get them over here. I've drained them. They're definitely, I should get a bigger container. Let me get a bigger container. So I cooked them so that they were definitely not all the way done, more like, don't mind all the steam, more like you take a bite and you're like, oh, those are definitely not done, because I want them to bake in the oven. Don't mind all that. So a lot more firmer, because I want them to absorb the cheese and all the yumminess. I'm gonna put in my milk. I've got nacho cheese, regular cheese, and some Alfredo sauce, because that's what we're gonna add to this. So creamier, the gooier, the better. And just enough liquid to see through your noodles, that way it'll absorb it and not be like too overcooked or too dry. So this is done. I'm gonna put this in the oven, bake it about 30 minutes. You don't have to bake it, you can just leave it on the stove, but baked mac and cheese just tastes so, so good. So this way, the soup, I let it come to a boil, I just put the lid on it and I'm shutting it off. And then that way, we'll have soup all day. Whoever wants to eat it, and mac and cheese for those that wanna eat more than just soup. And I'm putting on 325 versus 350, because 350 cooks at like a higher temperature and sometimes it dries it out. So the lower, the better. I've got some milk here to use up. I'm trying to use up my milk because I know no one's not really eating cereal. They had smoothies today, but I used almond milk. So I made some with the mac and cheese, but I think I'm gonna make, my mom gave me tapioca pudding. Remember I was having a hard time finding tapioca pudding? Well, she brought me a bunch. So I'm gonna make up just one small batch. When I was sick as a kid, I like having, like we would get the Thank You brand canned pudding, and so I just remember having that as a kid. That was like a comfort food. That was my, what is your comfort food? Let me know what your comfort foods are for sick families. Ours was Mrs. Grass soup, which I kind of make a version of there, and little oyster crackers. Vernors, anybody from the north knows Vernors. Hard to find Vernors here. I can get it sometimes at one local grocery store, but rare. So when I see it, I usually get a bunch of it, but we're totally out of Vernors, so that's okay. And pudding was when I was a kid, so we would get the Thank You brand pudding. It was chocolate, and then we would get tapioca, and that was so good. So I've been having a hard time finding custard and tapioca pudding. I know you can make it homemade, it just doesn't taste the same as box pudding, but we'll see. So she brought me some of that, so I think I'm gonna mix up just one batch of it just to have it. Anybody wants it, if not, it'll just be for me. I just remembered, I'm like, oh, I forgot it's a cook and serve kind. That's okay, we'll cook it over the stove. Remember being the kid, I was the one that had to stir mine with, just stir it constantly. If you don't stir it constantly, it's going to burn. So I'm gonna make this, it's just real simple. Put it on the stove, let's see, 2 cups of cold water. Medium boil, come to it, yep, that's it. We can actually put it in the microwave. Smart. We'll just do it on the stove, just over here. We'll do a small little pot, it'll be delicious. So I would always use a wooden spoon. We'd never use a whisk. I don't know why we didn't use a whisk, but I think that you can mix this beforehand with a little bit of cold milk, obviously milk is cold, and then heat up the rest, like a cup of it, and then just add that soy, and it's less time. I'm just gonna keep coming back and forth, scraping the bottom. It shouldn't go too long because it's just a small amount, but this will be easy little comfort food for sick family. All right, that's boiling. I'm gonna let it sit for just a few minutes, and I'll probably put it in my little glass wheat yogurt containers because I have some chocolate pudding I made this week too, just to leave in there, and then when it cools so it doesn't explode the glass. So that's it, that's good. Food's done. I don't have to worry about anything else today, which is a good feeling for a mom to take care of her household. Okay, so you saw when I poured that in the glass, use a little metal spoon when you're pouring it won't explode everywhere. Learned that from Candy. I put some nutmeg on top. There's only 4 here. That'll be perfect. Put them in the refrigerator. Food is done. I'm gonna get some little salty pretzels out right now. Go do another round, see if anybody needs refills on drinks. Pretzels, that's just the key, just keeping it going. I'm just like the nursemaid running and saying, do you need more, do you need more? And then I've got soup for whoever wants it. It's an easy day. It's an easier day for me. Sounds weird, it's easier day when everybody's sick. All right, so I came outside. That's another tip. Get outside, mamas. I know when kids are feeling sick, the last thing you can do is get outside. If you can get outside and get some fresh air, that's great. If you can open some windows, great. Obviously, all the normal things, you know, wipe everything down really good, especially the bathrooms, the door handles, the light switches, and keep washing the towels. Don't leave the same hand towels out in the bathroom. Pull some paper towels, all that kind of fun stuff. And I know everybody knows those kind of things. So it's a beautiful day. It is really, really nice. It is like sunshine. It feels like fall in the shade, but if I walked over in that sun, it'd feel like 100-degree sun day. Maybe I'll go sit in my pool today. I might do that. When everybody's laying in sick, I might just go sit by my pool and get some sunshine. So I'm gonna close today's video. I'm gonna make it short. This is life. This is what happens, especially when you have a large family. So let's read our proverb for the day. We're on Proverbs 19, verses 12. The king's wrath terrifies like the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as refreshing and nourishing as dew on the grass. A foolish, ungodly son is destruction to his father, and the contentions of a quarrelsome wife are like a constant dripping of water. House and wealth are the inheritance from fathers, but a wise, understanding, and sensible wife is a gift and blessing from the Lord. Laziness casts one into a deep sleep, unmindful of lost opportunity. Ooh, that's a good verse scripture right there. And the idle person will suffer hunger. He who keeps and obeys the commandments of the Lord keeps guard his own life. But he who is careless of his ways and conduct will die. He who is gracious and lends a hand to the poor lends to the Lord, and the Lord will repay him for his good deed. Discipline and teach your son while there is hope, and do not indulge your anger or resentment by imposing inappropriate punishment, nor desire his destruction. A man of great anger will bear the penalty for his quick temper and lack of self-control. For if you rescue him and do not let him learn from the consequences of his actions, you will only have to rescue him over and over again. Listen to counsel, receive instructions, and accept correction, that you may be wise in the time to come. Many plans are in a man's mind, but it is the Lord's purpose for him that will stand. That which is desirable in a man is his loyalty and unfailing love, but it is better to be a poor man than a liar, than a wealthy liar. That's a good one. I'm going to stop right there. Leave that last scripture for tomorrow. So, all right, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. We're going to be fine. We're going to get through this. We do. This is just what happens. Sometimes it's one of those like, and thankful I don't feel bad, so terrible that I can't take care of my kids. That's when it's always like, oh, when mom's out of commission, that's never a good thing. But I'm going to be able to go rest today. I'll probably, because it's blue sky day, I'll go sit up in my pool. You know I'm going to go do that. Bring in some sunshine, bring some life into me. So recharge, right? That solar panel. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And I'm going to see you guys again tomorrow with another video. All right, we'll see ya. Bye.